This is Fix It Friday, and today we are talking about a key issue, that is how to save money when you are working with fondant, which is damn near always, as you know. All right. Even though buttercream is very trendy right now, and I do love a delicious buttercream, and a lot of times clients, to save money or just because they're unfamiliar with fondant or they think it tastes bad, which sometimes it does, might be asking you to use buttercream. For the most part, a lot of us use and will continue to use fondant because either our designs necessitate it, our clients want it, or it's just the medium that most of us are more comfortable with. Okay, buttercream, although it seems simple, is actually not that easy. I would say fondant is a lot more easy to manipulate. You got to be very skilled to work with buttercream, which some of us are and some of us are not, but fondant is a lot more forgiving. So what I want to show you is, okay, this is how I came up with this. So first of all, let me show you this. I was using some white modeling chocolate that I made in order to do some figurines, and while I was working with the modeling chocolate, I noticed that it wasn't as pliable as I wanted it to be, so I decided to add some fondant to it. So I did about half modeling chocolate and half fondant. And then the other day, so this had been sitting, what I created, this mixture had been sitting with just a loose saran wrap on it, just like this, for probably about 5 to 7 days. So the other day I came back to it. I was like, oh, I need some, whatever. And so I went, I'm like, I'm sure this is going to be as hard as a rock. I'm sure there are going to be tons of like little crispy bits in it, which is what always happens to me. Anytime my fondant is sitting for more than a day or two, it always starts to get really like these hard little pieces that it's almost impossible to get out. Like once you start kneading the fondant, they're just everywhere throughout your fondant. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but I literally always do. So I figure that probably some of you do as well. Okay, so I came back to this mixture, and you can see it's even been sitting now, and it kind of looks like, just dry old fondant, but it's the gum paste. I mean, it's the fondant and modeling chocolate mixture. So when I started kneading it, I was like, what in the world's going on? Like, this fondant is really like not what I'm used to. It's actually kneading up very easily, and it's very soft, and there are not all these weird like hard pieces in it. And then I was like, oh, this is the stuff that I actually mixed with the modeling chocolate. So then it was like ding ding ding. Now I've heard of this before. A lot of people actually do use this and mix their modeling chocolate with fondant, and I just never considered it. I was just like, I don't need to do that. I never thought of trying it, but oh my god, like this is amazing. There are 3 reasons why this is really going to save you money, mixing these two together. The one that I just mentioned is because you're not going to have to throw out any fondant. It literally, I don't know how long it's going to take to actually get really dry, but I mean, like I said, I've had to throw out fondant within a matter of like a week of not using it because it gets so dry and so yucky. So you end up having to take off a big portion and throw it away, or just chuck the whole thing and start over because it's not worth the frustration of trying to get all the pieces out or trying to get it back pliable. And it's not worth the time, actually. So you don't have to throw any fondant out. That's number 1. Number 2 is that when you mix your fondant with the modeling chocolate, the fondant is about, well, the fondant I use anyway, which is a little bit cheaper than usual fondant. I use Wilton, but it's about $4 a pound if you buy the 5-pound box for $20 at Michael's. If you're not buying Wilton, you're probably paying a little bit more, so it can really get kind of up there. But let's say it's $4 a pound if you're buying that one. And unless you're getting like that 50% off coupon, like all up and through, then you're definitely not getting it for a discounted rate most of the time. And you can only go through the line one time with that sucker. So anyway, $4 a pound, and then this, to make the modeling chocolate, ends up being about like $2.30, $2.50 a pound. So if you mix them together, then you're extending your fondant, because now you have more fondant for about $1.50 less a pound. And that doesn't seem like much, but when you're doing a lot of cakes and you're using a lot of fondant, which you will be if you're doing a lot of cakes, that actually really adds up pretty quickly. Okay, and then the last reason why this is going to save you money is because when you mix it like this half and half mixture, you can roll it out much thinner than you can regular fondant, because it just makes it more pliable, it makes it more stretchy, and so you don't have to use as much fondant to cover your cake. Okay, also I didn't measure this out, like I don't know how much this is. I would guess it's about a half a pound and a half a pound. You can use a kitchen scale just to make sure that you're doing a 50-50 ratio, but I think it's pretty easy to eyeball it, and it doesn't have to be exact. Some people use 50-50 ratio, some people use a 10 or 90 ratio, some people use a 20-80 ratio. It just depends on what works for you, but I just want to show you what I found works and how it looks, how it spreads, and you know how it ends up. Okay, so you guys can figure out what you want to do from there, but I think it's totally fine to eyeball the measurements. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, comes out pretty smooth, doesn't take much effort. The other great thing about this that I forgot to mention is that it makes your fondant so much tastier because you added the modeling chocolate to it, and modeling chocolate is delicious. It's basically just chocolate or candy melts and corn syrup. Okay, so you can't really go wrong with that. And it almost is kind of like, I've been told that the Fondix brand, which is actually really good, a lot of people like to work with it, they say it's really yummy, is because it has a little bit of modeling chocolate in it. So this is almost kind of like making your own Fondix brand. I'm not like endorsing Fondix, I really don't know much about it. I just heard that it has modeling chocolate and that people really love to work with it. Okay, so there it is that. Now what I want to show you is how it works covering a cake. So I don't have an actual cake, I just have this little cake dummy here that I've prepped with some shortening, and I'm going to show you how this is rolling it out, just so you can get a better idea of how workability and you know how it goes onto a cake and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so let's get covering real quick. So that is our cake. As you can see, that was pretty much the easiest time I've ever had covering anything with fondant. I do want to caution against a few things though. You saw that I used a lot of cornstarch. That's because the heat from my hands definitely brought the oil out from the modeling chocolate. So it's okay in this case where cornstarch is usually bad with fondant. This is actually really good to help, you know, keep some of the moisture off. Also, a thing you can do is make sure your hands are a little bit colder by putting cold water. You can help out, but it was really easy to cover, really easy to smooth out. That was awesome. And I think it was a success. Okay, so, also the other thing that I did want to say is that this is not your man for modeling like figurines and stuff like that. As you can see, it is very soft and very pliable, and I don't think that it's likely to dry very hard, as you saw with my other one that's been sitting out forever and ever and ever. If you need to use it for something that's going to dry, just use gum paste or straight modeling chocolate. Also, if you're in a very hot climate, this is not the thing you want to be using either, okay? So just note that and go forth and make modeling chocolate fondant. If you want it a little bit stiffer, you can also always add less modeling chocolate. As I've said, there are different ratios that people use, but you know, work with it, play around, see what works for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this Fix It Friday. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments below this video. And if you have any suggestions for anything you'd like to see, any Fix It questions, please do let me know below the video or on us for our Instagram page at K College or on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. All right, guys, thank you, and I will see you Tuesday for our Tuesday tidbit.